Leadership is like, how can I put it? Our biggest opportunity for personal growth. We have a team that we want to lead. We have clients that we want to lead. We want to lead ourselves first to be able to lead also these people. So leadership is at the root of our personal, our team, and our business success. And in my opinion, leadership is a skill that we develop. So this week we talk about the most powerful leadership philosophy there is. And my guest is a very special guest. It's Jamie Lewis-Smith, who is a leadership and organizational development expert. And we dig deep on this philosophy of leadership. How do we embody it? How is it going to help us? And how is it going to help our team, our clients, and our business overall? A beautiful conversation founded on humans, serving humans, and put in a way that we are there to help our clients reach a whole new level by embodying this philosophy. Let's go to my interview. Jamie, thank you so much for accepting my invitation on this topic that is so close to my heart today.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I love this topic and I love the work that you do, and I'm so excited to be here.
So when we first talked and that we were going to do this, I don't know how long we talked about it, and we were so excited, and we're like, okay, let's leave some for the interview.
Yes.
So our topic today is on servant leadership. But before we get there, could you take a moment and introduce yourself, please?
Absolutely. So I'm Jamie Lewis-Smith. I am the CEO of Pixel Leadership Group. So we are an organization development and leadership development firm that supports leaders and organizations across the United States and beyond. We have quite a few Canadian folks that we work with as well. And so, my background is actually as a clinical psychologist. I trained my doctorates in clinical psychology, but I transitioned into this space of organization and leadership development about almost 20 years ago. But much of what I do, and even as we talk about servant leadership, I think you'll see is steeped in that background as a clinical psychologist and thinking about mindset, emotion, behavior change, and so forth. So but that's a little bit about me.
I love it. And in the beginning of my business, I wrote a lot of website copies, brochure copies for entrepreneurs. And one of them, I actually put that term in, and that entrepreneur was like, "What is that?"
Oh, wow.
And I'm ready to go there. And this is like maybe 5-6 years ago. And it was like, so could you explain to us what is servant leadership, please?
Yes. And it is it's interesting that so many individuals have a strong reaction to the term servant leadership. I've had leaders say to me, "I'm not here to serve others or be somebody's servant."
Yes, that's how they see it, servant.
And I think that I actually will talk about it, whether we want to say servant leadership, whether we want to say people-centric, whether we want to say empowering leadership, which is how I like to talk about it sometimes. I don't want others to become dissuaded from really utilizing what is a very powerful leadership approach, a really powerful way of engaging with others, engaging with customers, engaging with the folks that you lead, simply because of the terminology. But the term servant leadership comes from Robert Greenleaf. He was somebody who investigated and studied leadership. And this was way back in the 1970s. And it's funny because, I don't have to geek out on the history for you, but he wrote quite a bit about it back then. And really, it wasn't until after his death in 1990, I think it was even later, close to the 2000s, where folks really started to say, hey, wait a minute, this thing, maybe there's something here. And the research into it didn't really start until well after the 2000s. It's really a new space in terms of leadership research. So, but the concept is really one that is about putting others first. It's about saying, what do others need from me? How do I support? How do I meet others' needs in order to help them? And through that process of propping others up, through the process of thinking about others first, great things come really to the individual who is taking that approach. I like to talk about it really as a philosophy or an ideology of leadership. It's a way of thinking about and understanding how you engage with others as a leader and as somebody who wants to support your customers and support your employees in the best way possible, and the community even at large.
So is it really the way that I see it, and tell me if I'm off track, but it's like the foundation of true leadership, not directional leadership, which was more like leadership management in disguise.
Yes.
But true leadership, modeling the way and being there for the other.
Yes, I think modeling the way is a great way to put it. Robert Greenleaf said, it's really easy to lead others when they're choosing to follow you, right? Yeah. It's really easy when they see you and they have selected you as a leader. Maybe it's not a formal position, and I think we can all think about individuals who have a power and an informal leadership because of how they really help and engage others, how they help to support others to be successful and to serve others' needs. And through that process, those others say, I'm going to follow this person because they're amazing and I want to be a part of what they are bringing to the table.
Yes, and I find that in this new era that we are entering now, what people are seeking now more than ever, and I think this will last for many, actually hopefully forever, but what they're seeking is a leader who is embodying leadership characteristics, not just talking about it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because we used to talk about this, what a leader does, and he gives a compliment, like a compliment, the sandwich thing,
the feedback sandwich, yeah.
The feedback sandwich, and you do this and you do that, and it's like, but it was about doing and not about being.
Yes, absolutely.
And the way that I feel it is servant leadership is about being.
It's about being. It's about, I would say, as I said, it's a philosophy, but it comes from a mindset. It starts there. And I'll come back to this in a minute, but I believe that you could start from adopting the mindset that I'll talk about, or you can start through the behaviors and actions. And I think it can flow both ways. But from a mindset perspective, servant leadership, I talk about it as really adopting a mindset of abundance. So if we think about being in a leadership position of some sort, you can take that service approach or a more power focused approach. When we lead through this power approach, when we see our role as controlling others, making others get things done, when we experience the world as a win-lose, it's about competition. I have to win. I have to get ahead. I have to beat others. That comes from a place of fear. It comes from a place of anxiety, right? If I don't keep control, right? If I don't keep control, I may lose control, and I will be in its fear that's driving that sense of I got to control the others and I have to punish them when they're not in line with what I want or what I need. Yeah.
And that's so interesting because if we look at pre-pandemic, it's like, oh no, like my employees will never work from home because I don't see what they're doing, and they're going to be slacking off and, doing laundries and eating donuts all day. And
Yes.
now it's like, okay, there's not a new reality. Now there is a reality. We realize that that's not it.
Yeah. It's a sense of, it's assuming that people will not rise to the occasion. It's in some ways assuming the worst of others when you come from that perspective. And
So
see the wheels turning.
Yeah, totally, because that not trusting others, my belief is that when you are not trusting others is because first and foremost, you are not trusting yourself.
Yes. It's a sense oftentimes, if we're going to go into the psyche, of a sense of they don't have a good solid belief that they will be able to be resilient and overcome and work through others. And instead, there's oftentimes a sense of fear. Maybe they don't even have the security in themselves that they think they can do it. And so this sense of fear, for wherever it's coming from, or this kind of driving through fear, or this desire for having power over others in order to make things happen, really leads to individuals working only to the minimum to ensure they're meeting the expectation. You may be able to drive people real hard up for a short period of time like that kind of command and control, get them getting results. But over time, individuals in those environments, they are disconnected, disengaged, they're fearful, you have psychological safety or trust issues, and they're not going to give anything more extra. And they're certainly not going to be innovative or creative because that's scary. This is not
they're
an
like in
environment, right?
survival mode.
Yes, they're in survival mode. The fight or flight has kicked in everybody. It trickles down through the organization.
So I'm hearing some of the people who are going to be watching this and going to say, well, I don't control. Like, I'm not looking to get power over the people on my team. But sentences that I hear is things like, no, they have to come in the office. They have to start at this time, and they have to stay there, and they have to finish at this time. They have to be available. So anything that is a have to is a way that we communicate control.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a sense of keeping the reins tight. And it's a fear that if I don't do that, we're not going to get our job done. We're not going to have the results I want. It comes from, I don't believe that it comes from a place of evil or folks that are intentionally trying to, as a matter of fact, they really don't want the results that come from that style. They would like to have what comes from a more servant leadership approach. But that fear underneath, that desire to win, that sense of I have to win, that resources are scarce, leads to that approach.
We need to get things done.
Yes. Yeah.
That
it's kind of it's survival.
Yes, and again, maybe some of them won't resonate with the sentence, I have to win, but we have to be there for our client. We have to do this. We have to grow the business. We have to, we have to. Yes. There's something in there that needs to be checked into.
It's absolutely true. And I think that entrepreneurs probably really will resonate with that experience. Yes. Because you are in survival mode, especially earlier on in your process of developing your business and creating your organization. And it is a little bit of a survival mode. I just need to get the clients. I need to get I need to make the money. I need to get something done here. And there's a lot of anxiety and fear about achieving when you're in that position. And I think it's probably natural to feel as though you have to control in those situations.
And in my opinion, it's not only in the beginning.
Yeah.
What's the saying? New levels, new devils.
Yes. Yes. I work with many leaders who are in very large organizations who have been doing this for quite some time, and they still struggle with these things.
Definitely. So if I'm an entrepreneur and I'm listening to you, how do I go about
Mhm.
to embody servant leadership? First, can I dismantle of like how do people are perceiving that term? I like to prefer the empowerment leadership,
Mhm.
but can we undo the belief that it's all about serving people first?
Um, I do believe it's about serving
Yeah.
others, right? It's about meeting others' needs and thinking about what they need, thinking about putting their what's best for others
Hmm.
first, best for the customer, best for the folks that you lead,
So it's
and
about,
by
sorry,
yeah.
it's not, it's about serving others, but not about being a servant to others.
And I think if you extend it, I agree that this there is a negative connotation with the idea of being a servant. But if you extend this idea, if you're putting the needs of others and service at the top, my goal is to create, the conditions that are best for my employees. My goal is to ensure that we're offering the best possible service to our customers. We're meeting, exceeding their expectations and needs. We're anticipating them. And through that, in many ways, you're a servant to them, to those needs. But I agree. I certainly have seen, I don't want others to avoid this approach, which is so powerful to leading and really this philosophy, simply because they're, that term is turning them off.
Yeah. Okay. So first we see that we let's just get the emotions at the right place. So if I'm a leader and I
Yes.
want to embrace this philosophy,
Mm-hmm.
they're like a how to step by step. I'm like a very action driven person, Is there like how
Sure.
to go about?
Yeah, so I think that it starts with that abundance mindset. If we want to start from that mindset position, that really looking at how can you appreciate that by supporting others, by giving, by helping, that you're putting it out there. You're taking a giving approach. That it's the tide rises all boats idea, right? The rising tide lifts all boats, because by putting it out there and supporting others, it will come back to you. There is plenty out there for all of us. I watched one of your previous videos, and you talked about the importance of sharing your content with others. And sometimes folks can be fearful. I have to keep it close to the chest. I have to, protect what's mine. And yet, by being um, free with your ideas and free with your gifts and supporting others and propping them up to share as well, so many wonderful things, because people feel like you care. People trust you. They see you as somebody who is going to support them, and they know that, and they give more back to you. So it leads to wonderful things. We know that the research overwhelmingly supports that this is an effective approach for organizations and leaders. They have, more satisfied employees, more committed. Folks are the morale is improved. There's better well-being in the organization. But not only all the good stuff that we want for people to feel good, the organizations have better profits. They actually outperform even the Good to Great. If you've heard of Good to Great by Jim Collins, they outperform those Good to Great companies even. And so it leads to wonderful results. So I think that first step is, if possible, to adopt this. Maybe trust the process, trust that by giving, it will support you. Yes, that it's everybody can win.
Yes.
But as I said at the beginning, I believe, and as a psychologist, I think that it's hard for me to simply say, well, you have to believe in this or you can't do it, right? Because if that's the case, then we have a whole group of individuals out there that aren't naturally, maybe they don't have the proclivity, they're not naturally drawn to this, they don't have that mindset. And so they may say, well, I can't, this isn't for me because I don't know if I believe that.
Yeah.
Right. They're more I need to see it to believe it. And so this is where and this is what I do in coaching, is to support leaders, to support individuals and entrepreneurs to say, let's try it out. Let's take some action and let's see what happens. Right. So supporting them to take action to express the servant leadership behaviors. And again, through that process, by doing that, they will tend to see all the benefits and come around.
And it's funny, yesterday I was talking with a client, and they were talking about, you know, they have meetings with their team on a regular basis, with every one of their employees on a regular basis. And they're like, well, what should we do? Because it was like an evaluation that they used to do. And I'm like, that meeting is just, first of all, a conversation. It's not an evaluation, it's a conversation.
Yes.
And your job in that meeting is to just ask, how can I help?
Yes. Yes.
And I'm saying it, and they're like, that's it? I'm like, yeah. And then you don't talk.
Right.
Just be there for the other person.
Mm-hmm. It's so powerful. And yet, so many leaders miss that opportunity. They miss the opportunity to say, how can I help this other person? And I think it comes, again, I don't think it's coming from a bad place or a place that they don't want to help. It's simply they're focused on themselves and some of that internal stuff that's going on for them. Right.
So if I'm an entrepreneur and I want to embrace this philosophy, embrace the mindset, embrace also whatever is stuff that's going to come up, because stuff is going to come up, right?
Yes.
Kind of assuming that a lot of stuff might come up sometimes.
Absolutely.
What else?
So I think that the first thing is being in the moment. So I think that in order to express servant leadership, express this empowering leadership approach, it is embracing the importance of being in the moment.
Oh, woohoo.
and I think that is in the example that you gave, that is very much a part of that, is to say, I'm here with you, whether it's a customer, whether it's an employee. I'm here, fully present, fully with you. And it shows respect, it demonstrates caring, and it leads to better connection, which again helps to express that servant leadership approach.
And I think from there, you just embody it.
Absolutely. And I mean, there are some other real concrete things that you can do. So listening is huge. Asking questions, curious questions, not maybe those judgmental questions that some of us can embrace. Empowering others through development. That the question that you shared that you talked to with your client is, how can I help you? How do I help you to grow? How do I help you to be successful? What can I do to prop you up? And that can not only help them, but they feel so much better about you as somebody who cares and somebody who is supporting them.
There's so much value in caring and feeling that you are being cared for.
Yes. Yes.
And when you feel that you're cared for, then you'll go, above and beyond the call of duty.
Absolutely. These are the leaders that when you feel like they really care about you, and you hear the folks that are connected to their leaders, they have my back. They care about me. They help me to succeed.
I love that.
Yeah.
Because that's how we get the most out of the team. So a lot of teams will go like team building activities and things like that when embody an empowered leader. Yes. An empowering leader. It's huge.
It is.
You don't need a team building activity once you do that.
Absolutely. It is a team building activity.
Yeah.
By putting that out there, by supporting others, you are helping to create teams and connection.
Tight.
Yes.
Because like if I know somebody cares for me, I'm not going anywhere.
Exactly.
Because I don't know if that person's going to care as much as they do here.
Yes. So, and I'm sure that you have talked quite a bit with folks that you connect with about the Great Resignation and the challenge of maintaining our talent in our organizations right now. And I see servant leadership, empowering leadership as a huge antidote to that problem, because people are connected to their leader. They know they're cared about, they trust them, and they're going to stay. And that's more important than, the pay increases or another pizza party or some of the other things that you might do.
Friday morning muffins.
Right, right. Is that connection to their leader? It will keep your folks around.
So empowering leadership is good for me as a human.
Mm-hmm.
It's good for my team.
Absolutely.
Good for our clients.
Yes. And
it's good for business.
It absolutely is.
So now it's not even a triple win, it's a quadruple win.
Right.
I'm just embracing a philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
Jamie, I know we could have spent so much time talking
Absolutely.
about this, because this topic for me is such an important one. And in full transparency, I'm still also working on it, because we tend to be a very empowering leader for our clients. Sometimes we forget to be it for our team, who they are our first clients.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that is a very common challenge.
Yes.
We do it for our customers so much more often than we think about the folks that we lead.
Yes. Jamie, if people want to know more about you, what you do, where can they find you online?
Yeah, well, LinkedIn, I'm there, and of course they can check out our website at pixelleadershipgroup.com. We have a couple of opportunities coming up next month, March. I'm actually going to be leading a 4-part series on servant leadership and kind of helping folks really think about that mindset. How do you get there? How do you embrace these behaviors? So that's something that your viewers may find helpful. And we actually have just started a pilot program. So we have a program where we support leaders in their own one-on-one coaching to help them to really dive deep and understand servant leadership for themselves. And we've just started to pilot it with entrepreneurs specifically, so that it's targeted to the needs of individuals who are out there in the world. So that's something that your viewers may find particularly valuable as well.
Well, nice. I'll definitely put all the links, and I'll ask you the link also for the March masterclass the series that you're having. Super interesting, such an important topic. Thank you so much for taking time from your very busy day to come and talk about this important topic. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Such a beautiful conversation, such an important conversation. And here's my invitation. Do you find yourself saying, my client, my team has to be at the office, they have to work from the office, or they have to start at this time, or they have to start at that time, I have to do this? These are ways that we talk about controlling. So maybe you don't think that you're trying to control, but when we use sentences like that, that is how we communicate control. So dig into the question and the self-reflective questions that Jamie shared with us, and see, how could I embrace this philosophy to become a greater leader and to create this culture and this team that is really engaged, that really want to give everything that they've got, that they feel that they're part of something. Because in the end, that's also how your clients are going to feel. Our first clients are our team. So empowering leadership is such a powerful tool. For me, it's at the root of everything else. Yes, doing offsites and doing team building activities are important, are interesting. But if we don't embody empowering leadership, the rest is going to be worthless. So my invitation is to embody this philosophy. So I hope you liked this episode. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're looking to get more tools to build and grow service-based business, come on over to my website and register for our blog. Each week, I'll share with you articles and interviews with different experts or topics on marketing, productivity, and mindset. Basically, all the tools that we need to succeed. So now, embody this philosophy, embody and step into that grander version, that next version of leadership. Thank you for being here week after week, and I will see you next Tuesday.